What's going on, everybody? This is the episode 7 of Apple Advisory. What's going on? This is your
Yeah.
host, Mike B, and my man with me, Mike B. Don't get it confused. um, this is Apple Advisory. As I said, we try to be a news source for everything Apple. And today we got a couple topics that we're going to talk to you about. First topic is going to be about Oprah and how Oprah is yanking that her upcoming documentary is a Me Too based documentary that was supposed to be released on Apple TV. And apparently she's yanking that project due to creative differences with her and her director and producer.
Wonder what that means. Creative differences.
Yeah. It's
Ambiguous term, but yeah, go ahead.
for general creative differences. You don't have creative differences with Oprah. That doesn't really happen. The next article we're going to talk about is about a developer who was surprised that the Apple Card didn't allow him to download his spending data. So he decided to hack his own way into getting his spending data into his own private account management system, which is weird because like everybody allows you to download a copy of your transaction spending data for real. And the last article that we're going to talk about is the Apple Watch having a fall detection feature that sends paramedics to the rescue, and particularly for one individual when he was hit by a car while riding his e-bike in San Francisco, and his Apple Watch basically saved his life. That's a selling feature for me, man. And I'd get Apple Watches for people that I know just because of that. But yeah, this first article that we're going to talk about is the Oprah article about how she was. If you heard of Apple TV Plus, it's basically Apple's new streaming service. They have been working on one since about a year now. They've been working on trying to get it out, but I think they really only released it in September, October. But one of the key projects that they were coming out with was this new Me Too documentary that Oprah was producing. And actually the issue was with the documentary was based around sexual assault allegations, workforce sexual assault allegations dealing with Russell Simmons, and particularly with dealing with rape with one of his, I guess, either co-workers or associates that was in the music industry with him. But apparently there was some, like you said, generic issues, some creative differences that was arising with this documentary being filmed and created. I think most of it has already been filmed, but in the production part of it, where they're actually doing the cuts and the edits to actually organize how the story is going to be told in the film, Oprah, essentially, her and the director, I think the director is Kirby Dick and Amy Zurich.
Both of those are weird names to me.
Yeah.
Kirby Dick.
Kirby Dick. Yeah, that's it.
Missouri, whatever.
But he apparently there was just creative issues with how the story was actually being presented, and some of the parts of the actual discussion with the topics at hand about the people that were involved with the documentary. Making sure, because it's kind of a sensitive topic. You're going to talk about rape allegations or sexual assault in any form of fashion. You want to sort of make sure you have the message right, or at least curated to the way that you want to actually have that message presented. But there was creative differences between the producers and Oprah herself, and it's kind of hard to really go against Oprah, but if they apparently have gone against her, and she's sort of just like, nah, I'm not dealing with this the way it is. Apparently they're already going to be releasing this on what they call the Sundance Film Festival. They're going to be pushing this out. I think it's like January 24th is when the actual film festival is coming out. So this film is going to be released during that showing, but to actually put it out on Apple TV so that it can be streamed through Apple TV services, that's just not going to happen. Or if it does apparently happen, Oprah's not going to be involved with it. They don't really say how Apple feels about it per se. They really only have Oprah's statement on it.
What's interesting about her position, right, is that she's saying that. So in the article, it says that a little bit down, Oprah says they have that her full statement she made on Deadline says, "I have decided that I will no longer be executive producer on the untitled Kirby Dick and Amy Ziering documentary, and it will not air on Apple." You can go to the article and check it out, but it's so many. So one, her trying to disassociate herself from something that's already going to be taking place it's like moot. It's moot because you can't disassociate yourself. It's already there. They're going to know that you're going to be associated by way of them saying that you try to disassociate yourself from the movie. Yeah, I mean, right? So it's out there now.
That's part of the marketing. Like, oh yeah, this is the documentary that she didn't want to do.
So you can't try to dodge that. But then even deeper, I guess you kind of take it into a different direction. Not too much of a different direction, but so. This would be if this would have gone out and Oprah's name would have been on it. This would have been, I think, the third documentary she would have done about, I guess, sexual predators and in particular, we could say men that are part of the melanated community. I mean, I can research that term, But what I find is interesting is that it seemed like that's been the that's been the trend, like she's targeting. There's a lot of, you can go on YouTube and see all types of videos. People have different critiques of, what she's doing and why she's doing it. And because some people would point out that she's doing this with X, Y, and Z, but she's friends with this other person over here that's done even worse. So you all can indulge in that information. Right. But I find it interesting with this because I want to know why is it that she wanted to pull from this, where it seems like when we were reading that it would be targeting, I think, Russell Simmons, it would have been. And it kind of goes along the trend of what she was doing in the first place. So was it the thing I'm looking at? What I would want to know is she pulling on this because they wanted to take it the creative direction in a way where it would not, I guess completely demonize someone, or because the whole thing I think was a Never Wonderland or something like that. And then you had the R. Kelly thing, but it's like any person just observing this would be like, this kind of follows suit. Of course she would do this, but then she pulled on this where, it's another prominent, man, some African American descent that, maybe she could say she could cash out on, I don't know. And I know that she kind of paints this thing of she supports women and stuff, but
she kind of says it. She doesn't directly say about like why she's picking the people that she's picking, but she does go into like, because it does seem like there's a potential attack that she's on, and it's like geared toward a particular demographic that she's pointing to. But I mean, she does kind of say that, like, first and foremost, I want it to be known that I unequivocally believe and support these women, and their stories deserve to be told and heard. And in my opinion, there is more work to be done on the film to illuminate the full scope of what the victims endured. And it has become clear that the filmmakers and I are not aligned in that creative vision. So like she really like, I mean, I guess she just, like I said, she has a point of view that she feels needs to be told in a particular way. And it's like, when you do those films, you only got like one time to get the message right because like product. And I guess she just doesn't feel it's being justice. She probably going to take it to some other company. She got owned. It's not like
she can't
just put it on her own channel.
That's why I think it's so intriguing that she's pulling it. First of all, you're dealing with Apple, right? I know that Apple TV is a young streaming service compared to all the other ones, right? But it's Apple, so as far as the money goes, it's going to be a win for her. You know what I mean? Yeah. She's got money, but she ain't got Apple money. Right?
Yeah, so, but she should have known that it was going to be geared toward a direction. Me personally, being that I feel like it was a money grab more for her, and like it wasn't as beneficial for her to be on Apple TV as she could have just done it being on her own and doing it through OWN and not doing it through Apple. She could have did this through OWN and had full control, because I'm sure the other two, the Kirby Dick and and Amy Zuring, those are like, I'm sure those are probably like the people that Apple has suggested to be part of this this operation. But like she could have definitely did this documentary without their involvement and without Apple's involvement, and just went full steam. I mean, she's Oprah. She has a lot of control, and people will do a lot of things if she.
Well, something, yeah, definitely. I think that was with this is that because now looking at, and I didn't look at the other documentaries because for one, I mean, we already know about Kells, man. It's nothing new. Oh, yeah. And then two, you know, as far as with everything that happened with Michael Jackson, we know the story, like the story under the story behind it is that Slim did, you know, made those lies. You know, he came forward, you know, after Michael Jackson's death and said it was a lie, right? So, I mean, right. I don't really have to dive deeper into it. I mean, he already been proven innocent, you know what I mean? It's no, so there's no reason to dig up those old skeletons, right? But I feel like my personal opinion as to why she didn't take, like, she wanted to cancel everything was because it may have not come out and been as spicy as she directed the other ones to be. You know, because I think when you target, because those, and you know, I could be, you know, being in my conspiracy theorist bag again, but I feel like the way that those were developed is that it targets a certain demographic and paints a picture that supremely demonizes people, in which, you know, I think that, you know, it's good to point out these things, but then again, it's been some stuff that was embellished on, and you know, you do these things that get ratings, and it's all about money at the end of the day. But you're going through someone else, it's like you don't have full creative direction to, you know, paint the picture to make the audience you want to make. You know, I feel like you try to pull on
Apple didn't want to take that controversy on.
Yeah, exactly.
They wanted to go. They didn't want to be like the next R. Kelly uncovered documentary and like get it on Apple now, like get it on Apple TV.
Like we don't stand for that, man. We make iPhones, man. Everyone loves us over here. Right. We don't deal with that drama, and this is how we're going to paint the picture. And she wasn't with that, so she pulled. That's what I think it was.
Right.
So I mean, she don't think she's slick. I mean, look, she ain't slick, man. I get it. You know, we all know. You know, look at us. You know, we get it. You know, we have a long-standing history of people capitalizing on, you know, all of the things that people look like us. I ain't trying to get into that bag, but I get it, man. Like, whatever. I can see straight through that, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely agendas behind this documentary being built on all sides, and everybody's agenda isn't being fulfilled. And so there's definitely going to be a hold up for it. I really do want to see that banker movie. I'm still pissed about that. Whether it comes out on Apple TV or not, that needs to just come out, because it's a good story concept and the actors are worthwhile. But
right, even go straight to DVD, man, it'll be good. So
yeah, straight to Netflix.
Stuff, whatever.
You don't even need Apple TV. This next article that we have is article from CNBC. Title is, "This developer was surprised that Apple Card didn't let him download his spending data, so he built a fix." Basically, when you go to your bank account, when you go to like your credit card service, you always have this option to be able to go and download a copy of your spending data, like your transactions. If you want to get a spreadsheet, CVS, and says, not CVS, a CSV. They call it it was like comma separated value or something like that. Nonetheless, if you want to be able to get a spreadsheet of your spending data, you usually are able to do that when you go like your bank account. You can just download something that says get 30 days, get 90 days, get the whole year or whatever. Apparently, a product that has the backing of Apple, that has the backing of Goldman Sachs, that has the backing of MasterCard, all these major companies, and one of the main features that they did not build into this application was the ability to download your transaction data. They do let's clarify. They do allow you to download the data, but they download it in a PDF, and a
Mm,
PDF is a format is when you download a PDF, that's not really a format that you can like copy paste and put into a spreadsheet so that you can
yeah.
analyze the data. So if you want to see like how much you made versus how much you spent, looking at a PDF is cool and all. That's a good document, but that doesn't allow you to take that data and use it anywhere else. And what this guy has built essentially is this functionality that allows you to essentially you go to the website. It's a web app, so um, essentially some of the things they were saying is that uh, so that people know if you wanted to go use it, if you have an Apple Card, is like you can go to this website. It's csv.wtf, like csv. What the f, but um, like you can go to that site, and on the site itself, on your phone, you can actually transact, like transfer your data. So you pull the PDF, you go to the site, you upload it to the application, and it'll format it in a way that'll be a spreadsheet that you can take back and use for whatever needs that you have. And like I say, he was trying to point out some of the factors that the website is an application that is not like stored on a server anywhere. It's not uploading your data to some cloud that he has hidden somewhere. He actually points it out in the messaging, like, yeah, I don't want your transactions. I don't want your information. I don't want to know anything about it. He says it like here. So I don't want to see your financial statements. I don't want to be liable. I don't have them stored on the server. I don't want to deal with any of the headache. I just built this thing because I basically wanted to have this feature. So I figure everybody else needed this feature. So essentially, if you just want to go there and do it, you can do it. But the fact that they didn't build this into the site or into the feature is kind of interesting. It kind of points out the fact that they really didn't care about building it out for like our benefit. They mostly built it so that they can start collecting that transaction data,
Yeah.
because that's some important data that they currently don't really have access to.
Do you
So
think this is? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was saying, I was asked question. Is I think this may point to an internal issue, and that, I could be, I guess the word would be inflating the issue here, but maybe Apple's the employers are not treated in the best way they should be treated. And I noticed.
Oh
So
yeah,
when you deal with company, I know this is always like an ongoing battle with the 9 to 5ers versus the corporation, right? You see this throughout the history of jobs, right? To 9 to 5s, but certain things there's certain amenities I think that should be granted to the workers of your company, the employees of your company, that kind of cover all bases of what they should need. Because when you're trading away your hours for your dollars, you're trading away something that you can't get back, which is your time. And I think a lot of times, well, when you look at certain companies that have good tenure and good retention, they tend to have great amenities for the employees that work there. And although this may be a minute issue compared to all the other things that Apple tackles with their company and their employees and stuff like that, this may be pointing to an issue that could bring up some questions about the culture of iPhone, not iPhones, because Apple, that's what Apple's known for, iPhones. But it could point to an issue that Apple faces internally with their employees, man. So, and this is not, I don't think this is the first time. It's like one of those things where, looking at the culture, that because they push out a great indoctrination message, to be honest, and they are great at selling the products that they have. It could be something where there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that don't really gel well with the employees that work there. Now, it could be, it could be a long shot, but I don't know. I see, because I've seen several complaints online before, and I've gone to when I'm looking for jobs and stuff like that. You can go to Glassdoor, right? That's infamous Glassdoor. You're getting all your interview questions, your interview prep, and stuff like that. And a couple of times I've gone just perusing what's out there and seeing like what positions that Apple's offering and stuff. And I've seen sometimes like some weird reviews that people have with the interview process and people leaving and stuff like that. So I think this is something to pay attention to. The fact that, Apple was kind of heralded as this, IT company that kind of covers all bases of what you would need from a consumer standpoint. But as far as internally, it doesn't have an application where you're able to get your transactions so you can do your taxes properly. Like, what is that about? Are you just focused really on just selling the same stuff over and over and over with small edits and additions?
Yeah.
Or are you really delivering something not just externally, but internally to your employees?
Yeah. I think it's really just they definitely are just trying to jump into something that they're not ready for. And I mean, I take this as a good example. And I mean, they're not going to see a consequence to something like this. So, like, the number of people that were signing up for Apple Pay or Apple Card aren't going to decline now because of this functionality. Hopefully they do, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I mean, because like they definitely able to like controversy happens to Apple and it just rolls down their back like water. Like it don't really ever affect them at all. And something like this won't affect them as well. It got to be something great. Like they literally pay for slavery, and like it don't really affect them. Like, like we all know where the Apple iPhones come from, but it don't matter. But like,
make more.
Yeah, exactly. like something like this should be an example. And software for Apple isn't necessarily their bag. They don't build software for the world. They build software for them. And like now they're in a position where they're trying to be able to jump into a services platform where they're offering services to people, and people are different. Like they had full control when they created a device, and they just give out that device, and it's like you either like it or you hate it. We don't care. Like you just gonna buy it nonetheless. But now they got like services that have to be consistent and maintained back and forth, and like day in and day out. They got office support and stuff like that. Like, I mean, they offer support with their tech, but they definitely take the money first. So it's like you already got to give up your money before you even do anything. In this scenario, it's sort of like a give and trade, give and take. When you're dealing with a bank, it's sort of back and forth. It's transactional. Yeah. So like essentially, yeah. If they're trying to play the bank game, if they're trying to play the card game, like they got to do better when it comes to customer service and like what do customers want. They never really played into the what do customers want realm. They played into the we're going to tell the customers what they want. And right now they're like, oh shit, right with this scenario, they're like, oh shit, we didn't know that this is what the customers want, because they don't have to care about money transactions. They don't have to care about, I missed a few $100s in my bank account. Let me analyze that real quick. Let me check my bank account. Let me do some accounting. Them motherfuckers make like $152,000, $200,000 a year just doing development stuff. They don't care about missing a couple dollars here and there. They never hit the limit where they went over and they getting an overdraft fee. They don't know about overdraft fees. So like, they don't know about that stuff. So like,
how do you spell it?
Like overdraft. What is it, cold out here? It's breezy. What are you talking about? Like that's what they thought. That's what they know. So like they don't get why somebody would have to export a transaction and analyze it and look at it so that they can do their monthly taxes. That's not in their world. They deal with people that got money, and then the issue becomes the lowest product that they have for sale, which is the iPhone, goes to a lot of people who may not actually have a lot of money, who are just middle-class citizens. And those are the ones that are worried about doing their transactions. And that's important to them. So like, I mean, I guess this is more Apple going into the normal realm, being able to have to deal with the average consumer and not
have to listen to what the customer says.
Yeah, the average. Yeah, exactly. We got to actually pay attention. Oh, sure. Now we got to actually do stuff that people want, not just what we tell them.
This is going to show the difference again between why why Google is hurled over Apple once again.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, we listen to our customers. Hey, we make stuff, we fix it, and then we make it better.
Yeah.
Let's see what Apple does.
I mean, they a software first company, and that's going to be a good see. Like, what does it look like as software advances? Because software is essentially replacing physical world items. So, like, in a lot of physical world items, like, how will they advance? Going forward, it'll be a good play to see how that happens going forward when transactions are predominantly cell phones, where banks, when you open up a bank account, and they'll be like, well, you don't need a debit card per se. You got a phone, we'll just install the debit card app on your phone, and we'll just do it that way first. And like when phones become like the dominant way of transactions, we'll see where they actually where they lie with like customer service and support.
Then it's going to be, you know what, while you're at it, just hold your hand out. We're going to put this chip into your hand.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Welcome to Apple. This next article, this last article, this is actually a good article, and this is kind of talking about where they're going with things, with like wearables. This article, which is off of 9to5mac.com, Apple Watch fall detection sends paramedics to the rescue when San Francisco e-biker hit by car. That's a illiterate article title, but essentially, yeah, essentially this guy was riding. What was his name? William Bout. He was riding wrong with his e-bike, and he got hit by a car. And when he got hit by a car, he was he did the whole tumble roll, laid on the ground thing, and he didn't move. He didn't respond for a few, and his watch essentially called 911 and got the paramedics to his location. And essentially, it saved his life. Well, you really can't say whether it saved his life, but it came to the rescue, which is dope. Yeah. I think this is like the second article that we talked about where the Apple Watch has essentially been helpful for somebody's health. I think there was one article where we read some lady had like a heart issue or whatever that was detected with the Apple Watch, and it sort of saved her life because she had to have surgery nearly after.
Yeah, it seems like the Apple Watch is the only device that Apple has that's really proven useful for humanity.
That has been like, this is a potential necessity. Like everything else is definite luxury. This is the first time that it has been like, you know what, that's useful. That's useful. That can save my life. The way that the way that they say that it works, they actually have a description on there where it monitors when you've had a hard fall. They show the example of where you just fall straight down versus you falling forward versus you falling backwards, and all and then all the different fall types in between. But then like also once you have that major fall, it can detect all the shakes. But then when you don't move afterwards is when it actually will start really checking things like, okay, you fell and you didn't move.
You haven't gone anywhere.
yeah. So I think we need to actually alert. And what it will do, it'll flag it. It'll say, okay, are you all right? And it will, if you don't respond to actually checking to see to that alarm that's on your watch, then it will go ahead and proceed to reaching out to emergency services. It works in two ways. If you have an Apple Watch and it has like GPS and a cellular antenna in the phone, it will actually call, because the phone can actually call out, the watch can actually call out directly. If you don't have the GPS and all of that in the watch, then it'll have to Bluetooth over to your phone. But essentially, your phone will make that call out to emergency services, and it'll give out the GPS of where you're located. But it can be a great tool for society in general. I don't want to say great tool for society in a way that everybody needs an Apple Watch, but that software feature should
Don't
be
say
in a.
that.
Yeah, like I don't want to say like it don't need to be in more, and everybody don't need to watch. They need the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch itself overall is still highly inflated, but that feature right there is essentially a software feature, and that should be in almost every phone.
Oh yeah, almost every device, right?
Yeah,
That's what you were saying when you said that you start. It shouldn't be a soft promo for the watch because
yeah,
maybe in this instance they are looking to see what the consumer wants, and then of course it's a money game, right? So they go, they heist the price up and then put some other stuff on there. So it's like this I don't know how we should handle this. Like should it be a?
I think part of it came from like them needing to be able to find out how they can actually sell the watch. Like they didn't, the watch itself wasn't going to be enough. Like nobody, like when the watch first came out, it was like, well, what can this watch do? And it's like, yeah, it can track my heartbeat, it can track my footsteps, and it can play iTunes. And it was like,
let's see if we can make a track if someone's dead or not.
Yeah, like let's like we gotta start throwing things into this thing. And it was like, yo, we selling this thing for like $300. Like you don't have no features, so they've been throwing in features into this thing for a while, and this is like one of those features that I'm sure they didn't expect to really be useful, but there it goes, making a headline article. So that's potentially a selling point, but like I said, it's a feature that should be in every phone because every phone has motion tracking and motion sensing. Where you shake your phone, it can track where your movement is, and if you have it in your pocket, it could tell that you've been hit. If you had a crazy stumble and then you don't move after, like essentially that should be in every phone. That's not a feature that is like unique to the watch. Like maybe like because this article don't even say like their heartbeat slowed down or anything like that. It didn't do anything with the sensor to say like, oh, he don't have any oxygen in his blood, he must not be breathing or something like that. It didn't check all the other features. It just saw that somebody fell and didn't pick back up, so they need to call the emergency service. That could be in every phone possible.
How is it they're making something as useful as that only a bonus feature? Like if it's like, oh yeah, you can watch videos on it. You can watch it. Like, oh yeah, by the way, it's this little thing on there where
exactly like that should be a selling point, and they didn't even market it as such. Like that's a Fitbit competitive feature right there. And I mean that's just something that should have been in every device that has come out for like since there's been motion detection in devices. That should have been a feature. I don't know why it's not. And I don't know why it won't be going forward because it's nothing special about the watch that makes that any different than any other mobile device that we have currently.
You know where they should definitely put it, Mike? They should definitely put that functionality in the $50,000 Mac Pro that costs more than the BMW. It should definitely go in there, man, to save trillions of lives, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, you bust around, bust your ass just trying to carry that thing. So if you'll fall and stumble over it, you try to carry that MacBook Pro. What is the Mac Pro? Just a big box, the cheese grater box. You end up busting your ass trying to carry it, trip over it, fall. Got to call emergency services, and then should have it call your lawyer right after. Be like, yeah, I got to sue Apple. I tripped over that daggone cheese grater, man. Right. Bust my leg.
The box made me, the cheese grater made me fall. The functionality won't even check on a person. They'd be like, damn, what happened to the, call the paramedic. He must have dropped the box. It's not going anywhere.
It ain't going nowhere. But if it happened, it must have been because of this daggone. Right. Yeah, yeah, man, that's the articles for this week. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. If you guys like the show, you got to do the damn thing. You got to go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, go ahead and share. That's an important one. Got more articles coming up in the next week. Got a lot of things coming up in the next couple of weeks because there's going to be the Apple event coming soon because it's January, so there's a lot of new Apple news just tech news that's going to be coming shortly. But a
lot of Apple news and even a lot of Apple debauchery.
Yeah, it's always some actual Apple debauchery going on. Apple's Interesting. I got Apple products, but I never paid full price on these products, and I'm kind of happy I did because I don't know. Apple's.
I remember I almost fell for the trick too, man, in college when it always seems like it's the marketing, man. It's the way the aesthetics and everything. They had this room where it was like they all just had Apple like devices, and it just made it seem like real like clean and futuristic and stuff. But do the same shit, you know.
It's a utopia. It's just utopia products, yo. That's what I'm saying. For that utopia society, that the way you have the cashierless stores, it's the Apple devices are meant for that world. But if you got an Apple device, don't hate. I'm with y'all. I got critique. I'm not going to just give them my money without critiquing them. I paid to critique them. So
every team blue bubble, but that don't come with that doesn't make you void of criticism. Definitely.
Yes, exactly.
And like you said, Mike, like Mike said, although this is the Apple advisory, you can Google us. Whenever your favorite platform is. Google us at
ask Siri about us. You can ask Siri about us.
There you go. Yeah,
we're in the iTunes podcast section, so you can tell her just look us up, and we're there.
Wow, awesome.
But if anybody wants to go and do that, go ahead and do that. Till then, come check us out and enjoy. Have a good one.
Peace.